Welcome back to my channel, guys. So today I'll be talking about Premier League match week 31 Peru and prediction. So there are really important games for some teams. For example, for Fulham, because we all know that they need a win in order to survive in Premier League, and then we also know that Newcastle, they will need a win to sit in a comfortable position, and many things are gonna be happening in the next few Premier League match weeks. So without any further ado, let's get to our predictions. Fulham versus Wolves. I think this is a very important game for Fulham, because we all know that Fulham, they were actually performing well, but then recently they did fall apart a little bit, because in the last 3 games they lost all 3 of them. And against Aston Villa, they were leading 1-0, but then they lost 3-1. So it was a very disappointing performance from Fulham. So I think they will be eager to bounce back against Wolves. On the other hand, Wolves, yes, they lost 2-3 to West Ham. But then if you look at the performance, especially in the second half, this team was looking really good. They're creating some good chances, and they're going forward with a lot of threats. So I think if Wolves can perform something like that, they can win the game. So I think it's going to be a good game to watch. But I think if you look at Fulham form line, yes, they've been losing, and Wolves, they've been losing as well. But then I feel like Wolves has been playing a little bit more encouraging football. So therefore, I'm going to back Wolves to win this game. I'm going to go for Wolves 1, Fulham 0. Manchester City versus Leeds United. This is going to be a good game to watch, because when they first met this season, it was also a great game, even though it ended in a 1-1 draw. But I still think it was a good game to watch, because both of these teams were looking good in that game. So I'll be hoping a similar game over here, but I don't think the result will be a draw, because the way City is performing, I think it's going to be difficult to stop them. On the other hand, Leeds United, this team is also performing well, to be honest. In the last 3 games, they've been playing well. They're unbeaten. So I think they will be looking to get another big result. But then, to be honest, I think it's going to be tough. And I think both of these teams will make a lot of chances, especially Leeds United, because recently, yes, they did drop down a little bit in terms of attack. But then I think this team is becoming more organized, and it is actually looking good, because this team actually wants to stay in Premier League. So I think they're finding a backup plan instead of just attack, because we all know that early in the season, this team was only looking for attack. But then now they know how to sit back. They know what to do in a different situation. So I think it's a good things to learn from a team like Leeds United, who were away from Premier League for so long. So for this game, I think it's going to be a tight one, but then I'm going to go with Manchester City to win this game. I'm going to go for Manchester City 1, Leeds United 0. Liverpool versus Aston Villa. We all know what happened when the last time met, because it was a 7-2 win for Aston Villa, and it was a really extraordinary game, and I don't think similar thing will happen. But then I can expect some brilliant football. To be honest, Liverpool, if you look at their last 3 games before the Madrid game, they were looking a little bit much better. But then if you look at the Real Madrid game, it was not a good performance. They were making a lot of sloppy mistakes, and I actually don't know what to expect from this team, because those kind of mistakes are becoming very often, and I think it is not good for a team like Liverpool, because if they want to finish in top 4, they'll have to be like, by now they will have to be organized and like getting all 3 points. But then things is really not looking good for them. There are a lot of mistakes, some sloppy mistake, I should say. But then in terms of attack, I think attack is playing some decent football. So I think defensively and goalkeeper, something have to be done over there. I don't know how, but then something should be done. On the other hand, Aston Villa, to be honest, this team is actually falling apart. But then their Fulham win was an important win. So now the thing is, can they build on from that victory? I think it's going to be difficult, because the way Liverpool is playing, I think in terms of attack, Liverpool will be a little bit too strong. Defensively, I can't really say anything. That's why I think we can expect some goals in this game. So therefore, I'm going to go for Liverpool 3, Aston Villa 1. Crystal Palace versus Chelsea. This is going to be a very weird game. Crystal Palace, to be honest, this season, this team is actually performing really well. They are actually 12 at the moment, and I think they've been playing some brilliant football this season, and I think I'm actually really proud of this team. And if you look at the last 5 games, they've been playing some decent enough football. They only lost 1 game, and other than that, this team is performing well. They got a draw against Manchester United, so I think you can say this team is performing well and they are in form. On the other hand, Chelsea, to be honest, they're also playing some decent football. Yes, they lost 5-2 against West Brom, and I think Thiago Silva will be missing out this game. So I think it's going to be a big miss in terms of defensive department, but I still think that Chelsea, they have some players who can fill in that spot. So I think there won't be much issues. And then if you look at the Porto win, it was a good performance from Chelsea. So from a prediction, I think it's going to be a tight game, because Crystal Palace is a very weird team. They can get some surprising result, and I should say those results are not surprising, because this team is full of surprises. So I think it is normal for them. But then I had a feeling that Crystal Palace might get a draw out of this game. And I actually was supposed to predict them to get a draw. But then I just have a feeling now that Chelsea might win this game. So therefore, I'm going to go for Chelsea 2, Crystal Palace 1. But I won't be surprised if it is a draw. Burnley versus Newcastle. This is a very important game, especially for Newcastle, because if they do lose this game and Fulham win against Wolves, Newcastle will be in the relegation zone. So therefore, I think it is a very, very important game for Newcastle. Burnley, to be honest, I think they've been performing well recently. And yes, they did lost 3-2. But to be honest, I think that game against Southampton, they did play well until the 30-minute mark. After that, this team did fall apart a lot. But I still think if you look at the form line, they've been playing some decent football. Newcastle, on the other hand, I think they are also playing some decent football because we all saw what they did against Tottenham. It was a very, very important 1 point for them, because if they didn't get that point, and I think they would be really, really furious, and I think they would be worried for the relegation problem. But now, since they got a point out of that game, and I think it is a very, very important point for them. And if you look at Newcastle last 5 games, they got 4 points and they only got 1 defeat. So you can say this team is a little bit organized and they are just 1 step behind, which is winning the game. So if they can take that step, I think they will be for sure safe. So from a prediction for this game, I think it's going to be a tight one, but then I'm happy to go with a draw. I'm going to go for Newcastle 1, Burnley 1. West Ham versus Leicester. This is actually going to be a really, really good game to watch, especially for West Ham, because if they can get this victory, I think their possibility of finishing top 4 will be very, very high, because they will be still 1 point ahead of Chelsea if Chelsea do win against Crystal Palace. But I still think like it is going to give them confidence, because we all know that Leicester City are 3 points ahead of them, actually 4 points. So if they can win this game, they will be 1 point behind them. And I think mentally it is going to be really, really big boost for them. On the other hand, Leicester, to be honest, I think they've been performing well. And I'm not going to say they played bad against Manchester City. I think they were not the best team, but then I think they were decent. But of course, not good enough to win against Manchester City. So this game is going to be a good game to watch. And I think both of these teams will be going for a draw. And it is a very, very important game for Premier League table, because if they want to finish top 4, both of these teams will be looking for a win. And if it is a draw, I think both teams will be disappointing with themselves. So from a prediction, I'm actually going to go for West Ham, because they've been playing some decent football. Last game, I did underestimate them a little bit, but I think they'll bounce back. And they did perform well against Wolves, even though they did concede 2 goals and Wolves were coming hard at them. But I still think that their performance was good. So therefore, I'm going to go for West Ham 2, Leicester 0. Tottenham versus Manchester United. This is a very important game for Tottenham, because if they want to finish top 6 or even top 4, they will need this victory, because the recent form line is not good and the time is running out, because we all know that after this game there's only 7 matches left. So therefore, I think Tottenham should be looking for a victory over here. On the other hand, Manchester United, we all know that this team is playing some decent football, and sometimes this team can be boring, because recently Manchester United, most of the games has been 0-0 or 1-0 or 1-1. So I think it is a little bit boring, to be honest, sometimes. But then this team can sometimes play decent football, especially when they're behind. So I think if similar thing happen, it will be exciting to watch. So this game will be a good game to watch. And I think it is going to be a strange game, because we all know that both of these teams do like to sit back, especially Tottenham. And I think similar thing will happen. Actually, Tottenham will sit back and rely on the counter-attack. So from a prediction, I'm actually going to go for typical Manchester United Big Six result this season. I'm going to go for Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0. Sheffield United versus Arsenal. Arsenal should win this game. That's all I can say, because with all the respect to Sheffield United, to be honest, this team do sometimes show some good football. But then, like the way Arsenal are playing, I think they will be eager to get a win. Even though against Slavia, they got a 1-1 draw. But I think they will be eager to bounce back over here. It is going to be a good game to watch. But I'm going to go for Arsenal to win this game. I'm going to go for Arsenal 2, Sheffield United 0. West Brom versus Southampton. So the biggest question for this game will be, can Big Sam do impossible over here? It is possible, because recently they've been playing some decent football. And if they can win this game and Fulham do lose against Wolves, they will be only 2 points behind Fulham. So I think anything is possible over here, and if West Brom can get a victory over here, it is going to be a huge result. They were decent against Chelsea, even though Chelsea were a man down. But West Brom, they were attacking well. Their finishing touch was brilliant. So I think we can expect some goals in this game. On the other hand, Southampton, similar thing happened. They were 2-0 down against Burnley, and they bounced back. They won 3-2. So I think both of these teams will be eager to get a victory over here. But from a prediction, I'm going to go for a big statement. I'm going to go for West Brom to win this game. It is going to be a good game to watch, but I have a feeling Big Sam will be eager to get this victory. And if we do actually get this victory, I think the possibility of them surviving will be higher. That's all I can say, to be honest. So therefore, I'm going to go for West Brom 3, Southampton 2. Brighton versus Everton, to be honest, it is going to be a good game to watch. Brighton do need this victory, because if they can get this victory, they will be 6 points ahead of Newcastle if Newcastle do lose this weekend. And if they do lose this game, Brighton, there is a possibility that they'll have the same score, same points as Newcastle. So therefore, I think Brighton will be looking for a victory over here. On the other hand, Everton, to be honest, this team, it is hard to predict the result because they are a very unpredictable team. Sometimes they can play brilliant football, but then on the bad day, they can be really horrible. And against Crystal Palace, it was a disappointing performance from them. I thought they should have won that game, but then Crystal Palace were decent as well. So I think Crystal Palace do deserve that draw. So for this game, I think it's going to be a good game to watch. Both of these teams recently is playing some decent football. I'm not going to say at the best, but I think it is some decent football. But then, once again, Everton recent form line is not that strong. If you look at the last 4 games, they only got 1 point. So therefore, I'm going to go for Brighton to win this game. I'm going to go for Brighton 1, Everton 0. So that's the end for this video. I'll see you guys soon with the Champions League quarterfinal second leg prediction. And I hope you guys did enjoy my video. If you did, please give a big thumbs up, and I'll see you guys soon.